What is going on? Matt here. Today we are doing something different. We are not doing a review. As you can see, we are going to be doing an overview on a few of the big knife companies' 2022 releases, starting with one of my favorite brands, Cold Steel. This is going to be really fun. It's going to be real low profile, not super, we're not going to be real specific about stuff. It's going to be real chill. We're just going to kind of roll through them. I'm going to tell you guys what I think of each blade, and I'm going to give it probably like a grading out of 10, just on, first impressions overall. I worked with my audio a little bit. I'm using a specific mic. It doesn't seem to want to cooperate with me, so I had trouble adjusting the gain levels. I'll try to adjust it as much as I can in post. Hopefully it sounds all right. But let's just go ahead and start off. This is Cold Steel's website, and we're going to go to new products. And this, of course, takes us to the GSM website, which is Cold Steel's parent company. Let's start out with this thing right here, 3-in-1 sharpener. I get why they're doing this, because Lansky and a few other those sharpening companies make a lot of money on these quick sharpeners that I'm sure a lot of people use, including hunters and people who use kitchen knives. These things are horrible. The reason is they get in these, let's see if I can zoom in. Yeah. So in these little bits, you get bits of, because when you sharpen a knife, you're pulling material off, like micro bits of material. So you get metal shavings in these, and then they make your edges really burry. And also, it's just impossible to get a really even edge on something like that. So I get why they're doing it. I just would have no interest in it at all. The 8010 light, by the way, I have gone through these. This isn't my first time looking at them. 8010 light, I'm really pretty excited for, actually. I really like the 8010. I haven't done a review on it yet, but I really like that Tonto design as well. I think that's really cool. The 8010 is a really great knife, and the fact that they're coming out of it with in AUS 10, which I think is a really great steel choice for this. I think this is really cool. So they did a similar thing with the 4MAX Scout and with the 8015 light. So this is a great design. I think this is going to be a win for them. And yeah, I like that new Tonto design. Yes, I'll start saying Tonto, guys. I won't say Tanto anymore. Whatever. This is in GFN as well, so it'll be glass filled nylon instead of G10, which again, is still good to go. Garbage right here, guys. I think that this is. There's a few knives I am really excited about, guys, and a few that I think is just absolute trash. This right here, I mean, it could be a win, I guess. Axis Machete. This is literally nearly identical to that really poorly designed, poorly made Gerber machete. A ton of companies make a machete just like this. Cold Steel used to make these crazy machetes. I have one that's designed like a gladius sword. This is just, I guarantee you this will be made in the same factory. Poorly made. I'm sure they're fine for what they do. It's just, I hate to see such a unique company like Cold Steel doing something just stupid like this. All right, let's bring this down. Here's a gem. So I love gems. Gems, gin, I guess some of people, they seem to be transliterated different, whether it be like J-I-N or J-I-N or G-I-N or G-I-M. Anyway, it's a type of double-edged sword. It looks almost like a long sword, but it doesn't quite have the length or like the hand and a half hilt that it would have, and it has a smaller guard. I think these are beautiful swords. These are some of my favorite swords. I don't own any, but I just love the design of these Chinese gems. So let's see. Let's look at the specs. Another thing I don't like is just high carbon steel. Okay, sure. All right. Let's look at the specs on this. So is a 1/4-inch high carbon steel heat treated blade. Ooh, that's going to be heavy. Man, that might be hard to balance. But you never know. It could be really ground really well. High carbon steel. I don't know what that'll be. I think Cold Steel is usually like 1060, 1055. So it'll be probably somewhere around there. Rosewood grip, matching scabbard. Yeah, I haven't bought any Cold Steel swords. But this is something, if I decided to buy a sword, this is something I really would be interested in. It is nice to see, even though Cold Steel is doing something like that stupid machete, they're still doing something like this Chinese gem, leaf gem as well. Chinese mace, this is awesome. Again, another one of those cool Cold Steel designs. So this is cool. it's not a flanged mace and it's not a spiked mace. So let's see. Early Chinese archers dispensed with their swords as backup weapons and used a mace instead. That's something that I don't think a lot of people realize is like swords and maces. Um, they weren't primary weapons. It's like a pistol nowadays, right? It was easy to carry, and so they carried them often. But if you went into war, like today, you bring a rifle. You bring and I can't even think of the. I know the civilian models, obviously AR-15s, but like, and Israeli armed forces use a Tavor, M16. I can't believe I didn't think that, or M4, whatever they're called now. That would be like the bow or the spear or the spear or the halberd would be like their primary weapon, and they'd have a secondary weapon like a sword. And so it looks like they used maces. Sophisticated enough to stop a sword blow, but heavy mace could crush helmets. I believe it. Look at that thing. I'm sure that's not solid. That would probably weigh at 10 pounds, 20 pounds. Use it. An archer would use it. I think that's pretty cool. 3 inches in diameter. Dang, man. That's just a brutal weapon right there. That looks to be like leather wrapped as well at the bottom. That's cool. I bet that's a cool, just novelty piece. I mean, most of these sword things are. Chinese saber. I love a Chinese saber. A lot of Chinese designs this year, which I think is cool. I love Chinese swords. Chinese and Japanese swords are some of my favorite swords. I love katanas. They don't have the guards that I'd prefer, obviously, on like a weapon like that if I were going to use one, which who actually would, right? But even just for like sparring, they don't have the guard, but I just love the design and the way they feel in your hand. And I love a saber as well. I love American cavalry sabers a lot, and this Chinese saber looks really, really cool. Love that swoosh right there, that just curved blade. Really, really nice. I really enjoy the looks of that one. Wish they had that outside of the blade so I could see how that's ground. But anyway, yeah, brass. Let's see. It's got a fuller. Thank God they didn't call it a blood groove. Cutting and slashing. Black silk, brass bolster. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. 2 collar sea wave, Jim. This is the exact same picture. Right? Am I wrong? Let's go back up. That's the same picture. I don't know what they're doing right there. Let's see if the description's any different, guys. Imperial Court. This is the same one. Maybe they find Damascus steel. That's not Damascus, guys. I'm not crazy. No, that's not Damascus. I mean, I would love to see what that will actually look like. Maybe they just put that picture there as a placeholder. I bet it's beautiful. Dang. Yeah, I bet that's incredible. I'd love to see that rosewood scabbard. Man, I bet that's awesome. Whenever I'm a millionaire, I'll pick one of those up. All right, so we're going back to more regular cold steel designs. Click and cut folder. Sorry, guys. Click and cut folder. They've really settled in with this one, it seems. But this is a folding design, which I think is really cool. They have the click and cut, which was it was like a sheathed knife, but this one is a folder, and so it kind of makes it a utility knife, and I think this is awesome actually. 420 J2 steel, that's fine. It's they're replaceable blades. That's the point. So, and it has a triad lock. That's pretty dope actually. If you do use your knives all the time and you don't like sharpening, that's the knife to get. Something like that. There's a lot of knives in hardware stores that are folders now that compete, but I bet this is going to do well because it's an actually well-known locking mechanism that's meant to be pivoted. So yeah, high ABS material. Okay, good. Yeah, that's I like that. I like that. I haven't been doing whether my grade's out of 10. I forgot. All right, let's start from the beginning real quick. All right, 0 out of 10. I'm gonna say interest level 8 out of 10. Yeah. 0 out of 10. Yeah, like 8 out of 10. I probably won't pick one up, but 7 out of 10. And let's go 8 out of 10. Again, if this is Damascus steel in the way it's described, that would be like a 10 out of 10 interest level. I'd love to own something like that. Maybe one day I can sell a few knives in my collection and actually buy one of their swords. Okay, this if it's utilitarian to you, I don't really own any of these. but it'd be like an 8 out of 10 because that's going to be a really, really good design for what you might need. Same thing with this click and cut hunting design. This shows that they're bought by GSM, which largely owns things for hunting. That's pretty cool. All these different options you're going to have. So I know a lot of people aren't stoked on a lot of the new Cold Steel designs, and I get why. But this makes a lot of sense, especially now that they're owned by a hunting brand. And this is actually a very smart, I think, very smart, well designed, well thought out, very modular kind of knife. But it's not what Cold Steel is known for, so it's not super interesting to me. But I still think that's like an 8 out of 10 if I would recommend kind of the design. All right, let's look at this, the Drifter series. All right, so a lot of this is going to depend on what the patent pending Atlas lock is. A lot of people have said it's like a variation on an Andrew Demko Shark lock. See if we can. So like you see that, and it almost looks like a back lock, but you can see there's jimping right here. So I think that's going to be pulled back. I'm not sure how much I'm going to love that, deploying and opening it. So we'll kind of see. Overall, the design's fine. I mean, it looks like a nice clip point blade. I know there's quite a few more. Let's see what it's made out of. So, okay, let's see. I think they'll talk about it more later. So let's go down. Okay, so the Drifter 3.5. I like this design quite a bit. That handle reminds me of an SR1 handle quite a bit. So what is this? Yeah, okay, it doesn't have the specific material. I think we'll get down to it. But overall, that design, I really actually quite like that design. That's like an 8 out of 10 for me. Drifter series in 4116. Guys, 4116 is a perfectly adequate steel. It's better than 4034. It's not quite to the edge retention of VG10, but it has incredible corrosion resistance. So I think it's a perfectly acceptable steel. I don't like the looks of these blades a ton. I think they look kind of generic. I'm not sure what's going on with that Tanto. I actually don't mind that design. That's almost harpoon-like, I guess you could say. These look fine. It really will depend on what the Atlas lock is like. I'd say, I guess these are like a 6 out of... No, let's go 5 because they don't super connect with me. But, who knows? Who knows? All right, so the Drifter Series S35 in. This could be a really big win for Cold Steel. It could be something like their next Recon if it's done well, right? So if that's G10, minimal liners, or even if it has light liners, and the Atlas lock, ends up being something that people really connect with, this could be, a really big winner for them because I do quite like that kind of clip point. I guess it's the same blade design. Is that harpoon or clip point? Looks almost harpoon-like. You guys let me know. I can't quite tell. Dual sharpener whetstone. Sure, why not? Better than that stupid pull-through sharpener. So, yeah. So, by the way, this, I think I said, this could be like a 9 out of 10, depending on what the materials end up being. This is fine. 6 out of 10, I guess. Has 3060 grit on one and 600 on the other. Okay. Sure. Some people like to carry that. Most of my knives stay sharp for as long as I kind of take them out. So I, don't usually carry something like that. But if you need one, yeah, why not? Go with Cold Steel. Blah. Another one of these things. No, 0 out of 10. Don't. Just, guys, it's not worth it. Just use a different sharpening method. Use a stone before you use one of these things. They tear up knife blades. I've used them before, and that's the reason I know. Okay. Emperor Katana. Yes. Okay, so here we're actually getting into some materials. So 1060, yeah, like I said. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Dang, I bet that blade's gorgeous. So, Emperor Katana. I know they've had an Emperor Katana before. Silver and nickel. Suba and Kashira. Okay, so that's a Suba right there. I think that's the Kashira at the end. Forged folded 1060. So that's Damascus then. The edge of the blade has been given differently. Hardened. Okay, cool. Yep, that's common. So they'll have a clay tempered hamon so that the edge will be strong. Ray skin. Okay, so that's a legitimate ray skin for the handle. That's common as well. Black lacquered it's made hardwood. That's pretty sweet. Again, if I ever pick up like an actual sword, I would definitely, be interested in one of these one day maybe. I have a Master Tanto 12 by Cold Steel, which is essentially, I mean, it's almost like Wakizashi size. It really is like Wakizashi sized. It's almost too big to be a traditional Japanese Tanto. I'll show that to you guys sometime. That thing's awesome. Kriegsmesser sword. I think that's how it's pronounced. War knife. That's pretty cool. Similar to, yeah, the Grossmesser. Okay. High carbon steel. Yeah, pretty cool. Oh, by the way, that one, if it's freaking forged, folded 1060 with a silver nickel Tsuba, that's like a 10 out of 10. That'd be awesome. This is pretty cool. I always liked these because they remind me of falchions. I show you the falchion sword, but I don't want to right now. You can look it up yourself. So this is German. If I had to guess based on the spelling and the name. Rosewood grip. Yeah, these are pretty cool. Single edged. I mean, just nasty blades. This is Cold Steel right here, guys. So, I've seen a lot of people in some Facebook groups talk about how Cold Steel's dead. I get it. Like, we see things like this, and we see things like this, a little bit, and like, this, and you're like, Cold Steel's dead, the heart's gone. Maybe, and it could be trending that way, but I mean, look at how many swords we've gotten so far in the lineup. I just don't know. And then look at this, we got a Chris sword and dagger. Chris, a Chris design is that wavy kind of steel. I don't know traditionally where it like derives, but look at this thing. It's freaking crazy. I mean, that's just awesome. 1060 steel, good, Cold Steel, from what I know, their swords are like, they're a little bit overbuilt for like reproductions, but they seem to be real tough. So there's a sword and a dagger option. Like, that's Cold Steel right there. So I'm not terribly worried about the company, though. Some of their knife designs I'm not super stoked on. Like, interest rate on this one, I guess you could say, is like a 7 out of 10. It's not quite up to the level of that katana. And then for this one, I mean, it's just cool, but I'm not, like, those kind of sword designs don't really resonate with me, so I'd say like a 6 out of 10, but I still think it's cool. All right, this Leatherneck Bowie is actually really exciting to me. So I really like the Leatherneck that Cold Steel does. And they have a clip point Bowie essentially style design. But look at this thing. So D2, but if it's thick like the regular one is, like 5 millimeters, you don't have to really worry about it being too brittle. 10.5-inch blade. That thing's gonna be awesome. Like, this thing's gonna be sweet. Of course, I would prefer it to not have that guard. So if I got one, maybe I would cut that off. That being said, with a knife this big, it's a chopper, really, right? It's meant to be kind of your large survival knife. So probably not going to be doing a whole bunch of close-up stuff with that blade. But I really like this. I think that this is a really good kind of addition to their lineup. One thing that people have mentioned, and I think it is worth noting, is that all the best designs in the 2022 lineup for Cold Steel have simply been retreads or remakes of older designs, and that is fair. Even their swords, kind of similar to some older designs. So, I don't want to go out there and say, the brand's ruined, because I think that they still are producing some stuff that's good, and they haven't gotten rid of a lot of their other designs as well. So, again, we'll see what the future holds. But this year there are a few knives I am interested in, and I think this is cool too. You got a Lim Thompson version of the Leatherneck Bowie, right? It's just satin, and it's signed by him. And I think that it's cool that they do this, Lim Thompson, controversial dude, but designed some good knives, and I wouldn't want to mess with him. Even though he seems a bit strange, but kind of cool at the same time, right? So this isn't something that really resonates with me, but I know a lot of Cold Steel fans really like the serrated edges. I don't know if those are different serrations than they usually use. Lim Thompson signature Spartan, so signed by him, and then a serrated edge. I'm not sure if this is a full flat. I mean, this is full flat ground. I can see that. I'm not sure if that's just, this is an artistic rendering. I'm not sure if the handle will look like that exactly, but because this is clearly, this is animated. This isn't a picture of anything. But that's cool. I think that's fun, and a lot of people who like Cold Steel seem to like full serrated blades. Not me personally, because knives are utilities to me, but a lot of people like that as like a self-defense weapons, and it's in D2, which is cool. Maybe a little bit more edge retention than the OS 10 that usually it's made out of, but I think I prefer OS 10 just because it's more rust resistant and it will hold an edge well. These right here, I think are, I think this is where you kind of start to see again some of the GSM influences coming through. Because I think they're trying to get the hunters on board with their knife brands, because GSM now owns SOG as well. So, these are trappers. They're HCR13, which is fine. It's one of those working steels I talk about. Oh, by the way, interest level for this is like 9 out of 10. Same with that one, 9 out of 10. This for me personally is like 6 out of 10, even though I love the Spartan. So the interest level for me on these is like 3 out of 10. I just, like, if I'm going to have a trapper design, it's going to be something that, I is well known already, probably like a case, or even like those Rough Riders that Smoky Mountain Knife Works is known for selling. Those are good, kind of slip joint design blades. One edge Viking sword. I'm not sure if you guys know anything about like Scandinavian Arms, you'll have to let me know if this is a historically accurate thing. I think the edge is on this side right here. I really like this design because I tend to prefer single edge swords over double edge, mostly for aesthetics. I know double edge I'm probably more dangerous, more deadly, but just aesthetically, I always liked a single-edged sword. I think this is super cool, but I don't know how historically accurate it is. So you guys would have to let me know. I like that blade though. That's like a 7 out of 10 for me, probably interest-wise. Ranch Boss triple. Okay. Again, sure. They're just playing off the Ranch Boss again. This just doesn't excite me at all. Even though I like the Ranch Boss fine, I did a review on it. Check it out. This is probably like a 5 out of 10. It's like, sure, if you like cold steel and you want something like that, go for it. The Ranch Hand, I actually like this. I think it's a more realistic version of their Ranch Boss that they had. Again, you see them playing on probably the classic hunter kind of interest that GSM might be capitalizing on, but I liked the Ranch Boss well enough, and this is a little bit smaller. It's 3-inch blade, so this is probably a more kind of utilitarian knife. The Razorback. I don't know how I feel about this one, guys. You let me know what you think. These are like recurved, like choppers, and then this one has a straight kind of drop point blade. I think it's called Razorback because that enormous jimping, I just don't think that looks very comfortable in hand. Especially because look at where your pointer finger is going to go. It's going to go right over that. I could be wrong. This could be a really, really well-designed knife. I just am not sure, where these fit in the market, especially because they make kukris and they make really big choppers. It's also 4116, which is fine, and its GFN handle includes a secure X sheath. Okay. Could be good, could be bad. I worry about that right there being a hot spot, especially right there when you're going to be pressing a lot against your kind of your hand fat right there on that one. See if you're doing kind of more thin tasks. I don't know. Let's say for this one, 5 out of 10. I'm not sure if I said that. We'll say 5 out of 10 for these. They could be great. They could suck. I don't know. Of course, I love this thing. I love Roman Gladiuses. This thing's dope. Yeah, like we got a classic, probably like rosewood handle with that fat pommel right there. Classic sheath with the bolsters. That thing's sweet. Yeah, 8 out of 10 for that baby. I love a Roman Gladius. And then we got the standard serrated Spartan. Again, I'm not sure. Maybe they're going to full flat grind. Strange, but sure, why not? I'm sure it'll still function fantastically. OS 10A, yeah. If you like serrated edges, go for it. This is more of a self-defense tool. Anyway, the small sword, these are cool. I'm not a huge small sword fan or like rapier fan. This kind of style of real thin light blades, but it looks really pretty. And again, I think that cold steel swords seem to be okay. Like it depends on the community you're talking about. If you're talking about the knife community, they don't really have a a gauge on swords, and I'm kind of in that. I'm maybe in the middle because I've owned a couple, but I don't own any currently. But I do like swords, and I am interested in them. Stylus knife sharpener. Okay. It's just a retractable sharpener, so like it's like a little steel that pops out of there. Okay, cool, sure. Interest in this, 5 out of 10. Interest in this. Regular Spartan I love. It's like a 10 out of 10, but like because it's serrated, it's like a 6 out of 10 for me. I just don't love serrations usually. For the Stylus knife sharpener, I probably wouldn't have it, but I think it could be useful, so we'll say 7 out of 10. Tachi Katana, cool. Forge folded steel. So this is, yeah, so that's the Damascus steel we're talking about. There's not much information on that, but again, Cold Steel has not stopped their sword making. This is cool. I like it. Some more trappers. That's like a 10 out of 10, you know, just depending on stuff. But yeah, more trappers. I just don't. These are repeats. Hunter fixed blades. Again, you know, those are like 5 out of 10, 3 out of 10. I don't know. Just not much interest in these. Ultimate Hunter fixed blade. See, the issue with this is I'm sure they're just getting some random factory that's already making these for 12 other brands to do this. And Cold Steel kind of, yeah, they don't have like the most notoriety, like the most prestige like CRK does. Or like Lion Steel's, you know, gaining a bit of prestige, and some other brands. Even Benchmade has kind of some more prestige. But these are clearly going to be cheap knives with 420J, and they might be very comfortable in decent fixed knives or decent hunting knives. But that's not what Cold Steel is known for, and that's what people are kind of upset about. Is the name is kind of being tarnished by cheap knives like this. So let's say 1 out of 10 for these. The Verdict. I saw a lot of people trashing on these. I think these look perfectly adequate. There's nothing special about these, but there's nothing like inoffensive. You know, like they look like good design knives. We got some drop points, some Tanto rather, sorry. Aus-10, great budget steel, triad lock. What's the handle material? G10, you know, it's a G10 handle. I think people don't like those design flourishes. I like them. I think that just flat G10 isn't as pretty. Black pocket clip. Okay, like this is a perfectly reasonable kind of non-offensive knife design, but it's a little bit smaller, and that's something that I think people have been missing from a utilitarian standpoint is smaller blades. That's why they came back with the Mini Recon, which is a 3-inch blade as well, which this is very similar to. So yeah, I'm going to say like 6 out of 10, depending on if I get the knife and really like it. It could be even more, you know. So yeah, I like those well enough. Verdict 4116. This is something I don't get. What Aus-10 isn't like a super high-end steel. I would get if they went like S35 and Aus-10 or S35 and 4116. I would really get that. But Aus-10 and then 4116, I like those satin blades more, by the way. Oh, I like that clip point. That's nice. Yeah, so I hope they come out with the clip point in Aus-10 because I would prefer that. Yeah, very similar to the Mini Recon ones. I mean, these look very, very similar with the finger grooves. Wish they didn't have those finger grooves, but it'll probably be all right. Yeah, I'm not sure why they're doing like Aus-10 and 4116. I would do, you know, a more premium and, you know, a less premium one. Okay, that's it. These 6 or 7 out of 10. So, guys, overall, what do I think? So, I get that people who are really big Cold Steel fans are concerned about the brand and where it's going. And, you know, I think I echo some of those concerns as being a huge Cold Steel fan as well. But, you know, this year, they don't have a ton of knife designs that excite me like crazy like some of their other years. But I still think there's some good stuff there. So I'm still holding out hope that, you know, there's going to be some good designs and I'm going to really enjoy those. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I know I did personally. Make sure, check out the last video I posted. I'm giving away a Cold Steel Kobun. Let me see if I can find one real quick just so you can see it in case you don't know what a Kobun looks like. I don't know why you wouldn't know what a Kobun looked like. Yeah, so last video I posted, I'm giving away a Kobun. You have to like that video, be a subscriber, and comment on that. So I'll be giving away one of these, not a serrated version, but a regular Kobun right there. So just watch that video. You'll know exactly what you need to do. And that giveaway is available until February 8th. So make sure and get in on that. Thank you so much. Be sure to like and subscribe and be looking out for a couple more of these videos. I'm going to be going through a couple of the other knife companies, talking about what I like and their lineups in 2022. All right, guys. Have a good one. Peace.